Before we get into today's reading, I wanted to talk about the vitamins that I take every day and our sponsor for today's video, Ritual. Maybe about a year and a half ago, I was looking for a multivitamin that had what I needed in a convenient once-a-day step. I wanted to work out, sleep in, and take my vitamins, and Ritual vitamins really stepped up. They're vegan-friendly, completely transparent about all of their ingredients, and they make an effort to sustainably source their nutrients and packaging. Their women's multivitamin contains 9 high-quality nutrients from D3 to omega-3 that are difficult to get enough of every day, even with a healthy diet. I'm living in the Pacific Northwest, and if I can see the sun for around 30 minutes, that's a really good day. So I'm grateful I have an extra source of D3 in my life that also has the nutrients I need. Ritual is offering 20% off of your first month of vitamins or protein by going to ritual.com/Kloee20. That's ritual.com/KLOEE20 and using code Kloee20 at checkout. They also have a men's multivitamin, 50 plus prenatal, postnatal, kids, and teen vitamins. Check them out. For real though, y'all, I've actually been using Ritual since way before they asked me to do a sponsored video with them. Like, I have multiple empty containers of their pre and probiotic as well as their multivitamin. So I was stoked when they reached out to me and wanted to sponsor me because there's something that I've already used on my own for a long time. Like, I want to say for over a year, I've been using their multivitamin, and then newly I started using their pre and probiotic, and I really like it. So definitely check them out. Please use my link in my code, and let's go ahead and get into the video. All right, y'all, back into this reading. I'm so freaking excited to get into this one with you. So pile number 1, you are going to have this emoji. Pile number 2, you're going to have this emoji. And pile number 3, you're going to have this emoji. So you can go ahead and run to your timestamp if that is what you're here for. But those of you that have missed me and my content, I just wanted to say thank you for your patience. I know I haven't uploaded in literally almost an entire month, which I think is the longest I have gone without an upload since like 2019. I just don't usually take that much time away. And for those of you that don't follow my podcast, Divine Authenticity, or haven't seen on Patreon, I actually did a full house tour, walk through an empty house tour of my new place. But in the month of November, I actually moved to basically my dream home. It's a waterfront cabin, and I can't even believe how it manifested. I did a whole podcast episode talking about how I manifested the space. I think it's episode like 114 or 115. It's one of the more recent ones. And like, it just came together so magically, and I can't even believe that I get to live here every day. Like, literally right now, while I'm reading these cards for you, I'm staring out at a harbor and I can see the water from my house. Like, my office tarot reading desk faces the harbor, and I can see like the sunrise, and when the moon's out, I can see the moon. It's just like, I'm literally living my dream reality, and it's crazy to me how it all happened. So if you want more on that, if you want the walkthrough, it's on my Patreon. It's at the 1111 tier or the Cosmic Pumpkin tier that gets access to that. And if you want to hear how I manifested that, definitely listen to the podcast. But thank you all for your patience. So many of you came to my DMs on social media. So many of you like commented that you'd missed me, and just know I was thinking about you the whole time, and I've been really excited to come back. And I think that's another reason that I'm really excited for this reading in particular is I was like, what sounds good for the collective? Like, what are we vibing on? And I just really wanted to do this kind of reading where we are just channeling, seeing what comes up. I don't even know exactly what this video is being titled yet because I don't know what the vibe of the readings are, but we're just straight channeling today. So it's like whatever you need to hear, and I'm sure I'm going to base the title around what comes up. But in any case, Just thank you so much again for your patience, and thank you for just being a part of this community. If you're here watching, literally the life that I live currently today would not be possible without you. So just thank you so much. You have my utmost gratitude, and let's freaking get into these readings. So like I said, pile 1, 2, and 3, I'm gonna go ahead and give you some meditation music, and then we're gonna get into it starting from pile number 1. All right, pile number 1. I have, basically we're looking at this from left to right, and we're kind of going from like where you've been, where you are, what's coming next. And these all kind of fade into each other. So where you've been with the 7 of Swords, this I actually interpret a multitude of ways. Number 1, this could be that you have had to be extremely strategic lately, that you have had to like really get your ducks in a row, so to speak, really make sure that you are like, you know, getting into a good routine, making sure that you're taking care of like every little minute detail of your life, which can be really frustrating if it goes on for too long. You know, there are times where we need to quote unquote really have our shit together. And then there are times where we really need to let chaos just kind of go. And, you know, it's kind of like in that show, The Witcher, where they call like the magic the chaos, where I feel like we are all just learning how to bend chaos all the time. And so I feel like, you know, I hate that saying that people have that's like, you just need to get your shit together. When in reality, there are time periods in every single person's life where they really are on top of their shit. And there are times when you're just not. And it's okay to be in between those poles. However, I get the sense that you have had to be really on top of things, possibly for a very extended period of time. Now, some of you, this is also the card of self-sabotage or self-deception. So or like even being deceived from someone else. So this can be like betrayal from someone else or self-sabotage of some kind that we've been dealing with. And the hard part about the 7 of Swords, especially in this deck, is it feels very isolating, right? You see how there's just this one mind, one sword, because swords represent the mind. So it's just like one mind, one sword, kind of in this bubble away from everything else. It can be very, very, very isolating. And you maybe have had to insulate yourself from situations, from people, from places. And I feel like this, again, I'm seeing 2 things here. For some of you, this was a good thing. It was very strategic. You did it on purpose. But for some of you, you fell into old habits of self-deception, self-sabotage, or somebody actually sabotaged you. So the thing I want to say to you is that as we're progressing forward for you, I see nothing but good things. This is the hardest that it will be, is where you have been, because we have the Chariot, the 9 of Cups, the High Priestess, the Queen of Crystals. And basically, what is coming next? Number 1, you're moving in some way. This could be towards a new endeavor, a new opportunity, a new career. This could also literally be moving house, like a physical location. I say that because the Chariot is often like It is like the U-Haul, which I don't know if like they have U-Hauls outside of America, but U-Haul is like a truck that you can rent to help you move house. And so to me, the chariot is like the U-Haul of the tarot. But it doesn't always have to be literal moving. It could be. It could be that you literally just moved. It also could be, or you're about to, or like something good though. I don't see this as a move that was like not in your favor. I say that because the chariot is about following your destiny, following your North Star, and being in alignment on the right path. I'm getting the chills for y'all as I'm saying this, like full body, like toes all the way up to like, I feel it in my like neck and jawline. Full body chills almost. Ooh, there it is again. So this to me is a good thing. What you have experienced has actually course corrected you. And I want to remind you, pal number one, that you are never off path. That is a myth. The myth of being off path is like, yes, you maybe have strayed off from like the main road of your life, but all the roads always lead back to the main road. So it doesn't like, because they are all interlooped and connected, they are all part of the main road. And so you're never really off path. You're always being course corrected back to like the main thing that you're pushing towards. So the chariot to me though says that it is full bodied alignment. It's moving towards a goal, an actualization, a desire, but like making moves in the physical world. So actually doing something, putting intention down, getting to work on something, actually physically moving your location. And the Nine of Cups, this is beautiful. The Nine of Cups tells me that you manifested this. Literally, it's like pure intention manifestation. The Nine of Cups is the card of manifestation. So if you're sitting in fear right now, pile number one, Spirit really is using this reading to channel to you that it's okay to stop and rest here. It's okay to relish in this manifestation. It's okay to celebrate this win and this success because you have earned this. You deserve this. This is a gift. It is being given to you divinely because it's yours. It was always going to be yours. And I want you to remind yourself, pal number one, that whenever you get scared of like something good happening for you, which is very common, unfortunately, in today's society, many of us have an upper limit for the amount of happiness that we allow ourselves to experience. And we can move past that, but it does take some effort on our part to sit with those uncomfortable feelings. But I just want to remind you, pal number one, if you have a hard time celebrating your success, your joy, your happiness, I just want to remind you that it's okay for it, like it's a good thing for you to feel good. And if you start to feel uncomfortable in a moment of joy, happiness, achieving something, remember that it's just a feeling. It's just a feeling. You don't have to attach an identity, a belief system, or anything to that feeling. You can hold that uncomfortable feeling and gently nudge yourself back towards acceptance, towards peace, towards joy, to acceptance, right? I feel that the Nine of Cups can become this place of dis-ease sometimes because we think that we don't deserve the things that we've asked for. It's almost like you finally actualize something really big for yourself. Like I said, it could be a dream home. It could be a new career. It could be, some kind of opportunity, something that is literally meant for you, but you're feeling nervous about it. And I just also want to remind you that what you want also wants you. And you can take that affirmation. What I want also wants me. Just remember that. What you want also wants you. And if you haven't seen this Nine of Cups actualize for you yet, it's coming. Like, this is your sign. You are here to receive this message because this is your sign. And the High Priestess is here because you are about to enter such a synchronistic phase of your life where like you walk outside and you see a shooting star. You like but like previously you had maybe like seen some star sprinkles that you were working with, like that kind of synchronicity. Or you start thinking about a bald eagle, you see a bald eagle somewhere. Or you ask for something, it's like, to me, it's almost like the feeling of instantaneous manifestation. Like that to me is almost what synchronicity feels like, is it's an instantaneous manifestation. You think something and all of a sudden you see it reflected in your reality. And the High Priestess is a very like psychic card. It is about like being very turned in, turned on, tapped in. No, turned on, tapped in. I always forget. Somebody in the comments is going to correct me. It comes from Abraham Hicks, but it's like tuned in, turned on, tapped in, turned on, tapped in. I can't remember, but the High Priestess, basically, it's like your psychic gifts and abilities are cranked up to 11. Like, and it's because you have manifested this opportunity that you have been like, maybe previously you were really in survival mode. Okay. That also could be the Seven of Swords, self-sabotage. Maybe it's the survival mode that you previously experienced. And what this is telling me with these cards that are all like moving you forward is that suddenly you're able to tap into your psychic gift, because you're no longer in this state of feeling anxious all the time. You're no longer in this state of feeling like you have to just do things to survive. And suddenly you feel peaceful enough to just be open and receptive. So your psychic gifts are increasing. And then the Queen of Crystals, I'm sorry. Today we just have a mouth. And actually, I'm not sorry. I feel like that's how I talk in my day-to-day life, and I'm not going to apologize for it. The Queen of Crystals is just like the crowning jewel of this reading, because this is to me where you're headed, and this is confident. It's confidence. It exudes and reeks of confidence. So I love this because I get the feeling, pal number one, that you have really either been let down by a lot of people in your life, or you've let yourself down multiple times. And the Queen of Crystals, going from a Seven of Swords to a Queen of Crystals, is just beautiful. It's overcoming those self-defeating habits, overcoming self-sabotage, believing that you deserve more if people have let you down. It's knowing that you are a powerful, creative manifester and actually believing it. And it's moving forward in the world feeling good, feeling confident. Like, I want you to also take this affirmation. Like, if you have your phone with you or like a pen and a paper, please, like, I know I already gave you what I want wants me. What I want also wants me. But I also want you to take the better it gets, the better it gets. I know that doesn't make sense, but like, say it a couple of times and it will. So many people that I've said this to will give me a look like, what? You just repeated yourself. But no, the better it gets, the better it gets. So when something good happens, more good things come. And just know that the good things in your life are only going to keep compounding upward. Like, you are in a phase of your life right now where you are just going to continue to receive blessings. So this is gorgeous. I love it. Now, we also have for you the card of the Fates. So this was fated for you completely. What your experience is by no coincidence. We have serendipity, which to me is very similar to the Fate card, right? The Fates, serendipity, and new life. Oh, this makes me want to cry. I love when I get cards that talk about like death, rebirth, a new life, rising from the ashes. And this was a part of your soul contract, pile number one. This moment in your life right now was a part of the soul contract that you came in with, meaning you knew when like incarnating into this life that this was one of those like big moments that like you knew that this was going to be something you were going to want in your lifetime. And so it was going to be given no matter what course your life took. It's like one of those, because personally, I do believe that there are some moments of our lives that are predetermined, but I do think that we have a lot of choice in between those things. And this is one of those things that was already like predetermined. It was destined for you. It was fated for you. It was supposed to happen. And the way that it happened feels so incredibly fortunate and so lucky that like literally there's like a 4-leaf clover. You can't help but trust in the divine from this experience. If you're somebody that's like skeptical or doesn't really like thinks manifestation can happen for everybody else but you, this is going to reinstill your faith in your spiritual team, in divine guidance. This is going to really like amp up the way that you feel about the like spiritual energy around you. And that's another reason I think the high priestess is coming out here is it's like, you know, she is tapped into the spirit realm. She is tapped into her guidance system. And I feel like this is going to feel so serendipitous. It maybe already has, because the 9 of Cups to me is like the present moment. And then we lead kind of in more to the future. Either it's about to or it's currently happening. And it feels so serendipitous, you can't deny it. And those to me are some of the best manifestations, pile number 1, when something so unbelievably serendipitous happens that we literally can't deny that there is like a divine hand in our life helping us orchestrate, because things just happen too crazy. Like, y'all, if you haven't listened to my podcast episode on manifesting my dream home, I know I talked about it in the beginning, and I'm not just trying to like advertise to you, like you can do whatever you want, but I would encourage you to go listen to that episode, because I had so many weird, crazy, whack synchronicities getting into this house that I had this similar experience where I could not deny that there was a divine hand at play, because too many things came to, like, I'm getting the chills talking about it. It just, too many things aligned too perfectly. And then we also have new life. So we're going to be doing a little bit of reading we're reading the tarot cards, but we're going to be doing a little bit of reading with today's tarot card reading, in the sense that I am going to be doing a little bit of book divination for you. And I also have another deck here that I'm still learning that I want to use the book. And Spirit is telling me to open the book from this deck and read about this new life for you, because this is your future. So this is number 39. 36, 37, 38, 39. Okay, nope, that's 29. Okay, 39. New life. Birth of new ideas, growth, opportunities, a breath of fresh air, life renewing itself. The oracle message: when spring awakens the world, joy and excitement can be felt all around and in your very core. Blossoms burst from trees overnight, birds return home and sing their glorious song, and nature is full of promise. Miracles beckon all of us. This is one of those times in your life when new ideas inspire you and new opportunities bring you hope for seeing your dreams come true. All is well in your world, and you have the energy you need to feel renewed. Allow your heart to fill with enthusiasm. Let your light shine, for this is a time of good fortune. What did I tell you? I literally just said to you that this was going to be a time period of your blessings increasing. Like, you think you're blessed right now with this 9 of Cups? You have no idea, is like what Spirit is saying to me. You have no idea how much better it is about to get. Ooh, I'm just so happy for you. Okay. So next we have, and this is interesting to me because we have all these great cards, right? All of a sudden we have the Storm. So let's see what this is about. Storms can be a good thing. Do not get it twisted, but I'm really interested to see what this is about. So this we're going to read as well, because this is a deck that's brand new to me. And, I am not familiar with every single card yet. And also all the decks I use will be linked down below for you. So inner turbulence, this too shall pass. So I knew this was coming. This isn't because something outside is wrong. It's not like, again, remember how I talked to you about you reaching your upper limit of happiness and joy? You're going to hit it, and you're going to start to feel uncomfortable with how much you're receiving. And I'm telling you, you need to learn to really reel it in and focus, because you can surpass what your upper limit is. I promise that it is possible, but you have to be willing to do the work that requires. And sometimes it is a lot of mental work, a lot of breathing, focusing, journaling, and getting clear on why you think you don't deserve these things, because you do. And it's almost like, this to me is like actualizing your pie in the sky, right? Pie in the sky is like those manifestations that are so big, you feel like they're not achievable. And then suddenly they're at your door, like, knock, knock, bitch, here I am. But this is such a harsh lesson too. But it's like you receive that thing, but you thought that receiving that was going to give you a different life, make you a different person. And you realize that once you manifested this, nothing about you changed. You know, you might be in a more secure home, you might be richer, you might be meeting some kind of bodily goal that you wanted. You might have received an opportunity that you've prayed and prayed and prayed for, but you are still the same you that went to bed the night before you had the thing. So it leads you to this place of, what did I think that this was going to give me? And how can I start creating a life right now, today, that honors that within me? Like, I think one of my favorite examples of this, pile number one, is that I think, like, it's like when I hear people talk about their big dream, which I hear this a lot. It's a very common dream, and it's not a bad dream. I think it's a great thing to aspire towards. I've heard it a lot. It's like, you want to have your dream home, your 2 kids, and be like chilling on the couch, dinner's made, you've had dessert, and all of you are watching Disney movies together, you and your spouse, your kids, in your brand new, beautiful dream home, and you're just vibing after you've made Christmas cookies or something, okay? And the thing is most people that paint this picture for themselves, what they really want is this feeling of peace and wholeness, because that's the underlying. You think that having all of these things is going to make you feel whole and complete, or it's going to make you feel more peaceful. But the problem with that is, a lot of times our silly monkey brains, when we reach a state of peace, we will start to self-sabotage that, because we don't know how to operate in a state of peace, because we've been in survival for so long. And you have to start cultivating a lifestyle that is rooted in peace, in wholeness, in self-actualizing. So that way, when this life comes for you, when this manifestation shows up at your door, you can go, oh, there you are. You were already supposed to be here. You're late. Like, welcome in. Or you're not late. You know, they're always on time. But you're able to actually fully experience that moment and enjoy it and let yourself have it. You know, I think that most people are taught manifestation backwards, or it's not even manifestation. It's like most people are taught in today's world that when you have the thing, that's when you'll be complete. When in reality, you have to create the life like you already have it first. And then it's going to feel so normal for you to experience it. So anyways, I digress. That was a tangent, I know. But the reason I brought it up is because this card, the Storm, is about inner turbulence. And the inner turbulence is basically, it says, I have the courage to navigate any storm. I am willing to go beyond my comfort zone. I am ready to let go of that familiar and embrace my new destiny. Wow, I just got the chills again. You literally are opening a brand new book. We're not on to chapter 2. We are closing the last, you are upgrading to a whole new version of yourself with new dreams, new goals, new self-actualization, new habits. And this to me is like everything you used to want. Maybe you're receiving that finally. And now you're not trying to necessarily move the goalpost immediately. You're actually trying to learn how to sustain the lifestyle, but you're also trying to learn more about your inner world so that you can feel good and peaceful about all that you have just been blessed with. And it's going to create a new pathway for you, a new destiny, a new thing to work towards, and a new way of being. So let's go ahead and read about this a little bit. It says, sometimes the answer to our prayers is not always an outcome. It is the tender experience of moving through a storm, crossing miles and miles of turbulent waters. We may be tested beyond belief, stretching our spirit to unimaginable limits. This can never be a shortcut. It is the sweetness of becoming, as the sacred unveiling of who we truly are. The destination may change once we finally arrive. When our feet are more firmly planted on the ground, we will know how far we have come by what we have truly overcome. We are never the same afterwards. We are forever changed. This card brings a cautionary message of an approaching storm. You may already be feeling the static in the air as a sense of unease permeates your daily routine. Whether you are excited for a shakeup or flinch at the imminent disruption, it is wise to be prepared. Tie up those loose ends, free up some space in your schedule, find a moment to center yourself so that you are not carried away by the fretful energy. Grounding crystals such as black tourmaline and hematite can be helpful. During times of stress, our emotions run high as our perception becomes colored by survival. Now is not the time to make any hasty decision that could be long-term. Also be mindful of jumping to conclusions triggered by temporary feelings. A storm is transient compared to the eternal stars above. Storms scatter seeds and nutrients across long distance. If we allow it, this can be an opportune time to fertilize an idea or situation that may have been stagnant. Even in the midst of chaos, we can harness the electricity generated by things being stirred up to fuel the next stage of the unfoldment. Believe in yourself, dear one. So I don't think that it's not an external problem. You're not going to be like evicted. You're not going to lose all the things that you were just blessed with. It's not that. For once, pile number one, it's not an external circumstance. This is a very internal conflict. And I know it sucks. I know you just want to enjoy everything that you created for yourself. And you will. But right now, you need to focus on that inner turmoil because it's ruining your ability to embrace this new book, right? Not a new chapter, is a whole new book. It is ruining your ability to love, accept, and appreciate the blessings that have poured and showered down on your life and are going to continue. So just know that you have what it takes to weather this. You will make it through the other side of this, but it is going to take some concentrated effort. And I would highly encourage, if this is really resonating with you, pile number one, please, 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 I will link it down below. Get the book, You Are the Mountain by Brianna Wiest. This is like one of the best books on self-development that I have ever read, truly. And I have read a crap load of self-development books. I am like the queen. I am a self-development junkie. And it is one of the best books that I've ever read. I am actually currently reading through it for a second time. And it's just as good as it was the first time, if not better. And it's funny that I bring that up too, because we're actually going to do a little bit of book divination right at the end of your reading with another one of Brianna Wiest books that I'll also link down below. So we have a couple more affirmations for you, and then we're going to get into that book passage. So we have, with clarity of mind, feel abundance and worthiness. Sorry. Oh, I had like a burp, which fun fact, if you burp during like energetic readings, it's usually just because the energy like needs to move. With clarity of mind, I feel abundance and worthiness coming through. Sorry, I couldn't read that word. With clarity of mind, I feel abundance and worthiness coming through. And then we have, I am mindful at all times and live only within the moment I have. Ooh, those are good ones too. So you may want to take those down too. All right. Now let's get into this book passage that I'm really excited. You have, I think, the longest book passage too. You're just getting a really long reading today, pile number one. So we're actually going to be reading from Ceremony, and I actually like really set intention over this book, and your passage I've already flagged here. So it's actually kind of a lengthy one. We're going to be here for a minute. But I would encourage you to listen to this because this Brianna Wiest will change your life. Like she just writes from like another planet. I feel like, actually it's very grounded and I like that about her. So this is from her book, Ceremony. Like I said, I'll link it down below. This is page 27 and it's about 3-4 pages long. 1, 2, 3, 3 and like a little bit. So let's go ahead. The past that you believe is currently holding you back is nothing but a memory. It's an image that lives in your mind and in your mind alone. The past is not a painting in a museum. It is not a portrait that we can gaze at and identify each brushstroke and contour. It is a semblance of emotion, a series of recollection, most of which become increasingly more distorted over time. Do you ever wonder why the things that seem to drum up your heartbeat and sink your stomach until you're caving in on yourself are one-dimensional ideas of what might have happened or how someone may have seen it? Out of your entire life, why is it that some experiences carry so much weight over all others? Why is it that you've distilled a memory down to its most haunting form? Is this the full truth of your story? I want you to feel into your body. Feel the tension and constriction in your bones. Feel the weight of what you've been carrying all these years. Feel your feet and your legs and your hips and your neck. Feel the contractions, how your cells are constructing your body as the first line of defense in a battle that is long, long over. As you feel this more and more deeply, I want you to tell yourself something over and over. The past is gone. All that exists is the moment. The past is gone. All that exists is this moment. The past is gone, and when we try to resurrect pieces of it without its full context, we hurt ourselves for no reason. There is no wisdom to be gained this way. There is no lesson to be learned. There is nothing that is added to our current lives, nor our future ones. There is only time that is taken away. The past is gone, and when we try to let our most impulsive thoughts tell us what it was or what it meant, we rob ourselves of the experience that was our own life. Every step, every chance, every person, every encounter, and even everything you think you did wrong was building the person that you would one day become. Before you start thinking that good people can only be a collection of positive experiences, please remember that you often must first realize that what is wrong before you will know what is right. You must know that love isn't to know what love is. You must know what love isn't to know what love is. You must be who you aren't to discover who you are. Instead of belittling the version of you that was holding themselves up in whatever way they knew how, thank them. The version of your future rested within their minds. You are only here today because of what they did and how they did it. Could you imagine if they knew that after all of that, their future selves would look back on them and sum them up by the smallest details that they couldn't even control? You owe yourself more than this. You owe your life more than this. It's time to let go of the past, though of course it's already gone. There's nothing that you have to release other than your idea that these old experiences are still with you now, because they aren't. There's nothing that you have to release other than the fact that your life is not just one thing. When we carry the past into the present, it's because the experience feels unfinished. But what we often don't realize is that the only way to complete it is to take everything we wish we could have had then and to pursue it completely right now. The most damaging way to live is not to stay small so that the world is never given the opportunity to hurt us on occasion, but that we hurt ourselves every day, insisting that we might not be able to start living now because something behind us once didn't go as we planned. Courage is to show up and live anyway. Change is to show up and live anyway. Truth is to show up and live anyway. The memories will keep coming for a while. They don't live because we tell them to. They slowly fade as we fill our minds with new things, more captivating, more compelling, more worth our attention. We do not let go by standing within the ruins, but by building the life that was trying to emerge all along. What did I tell you about Brianna Weiss being life-changing? Yo, she had me in my feelings. Thank you for witnessing me as I got to read that for you. I just want to say, pile number one, you can do this. You are capable. It's okay to let good things happen to you and happen for you. And you deserve all of the goodness that is coming your way right now. Every single bit of it. You deserve to be held, to be loved, to be protected. You deserve a life of softness. And you don't always have to keep battling everything out to get a good life. You're allowed to be open and receptive to this new book, right? Not the chapter, the book. And just in closing, I want to thank Ritual so much for sponsoring today's video. Please don't forget to check out ritual.com/Kloee20 and use my code Kloee20 for that 20% off if you're interested. And all my links are down below. I feel like this reading was way too powerful to sit here and tell you about all of my stuff. Like, if you want to see me anywhere else, I have a Patreon that I would love to have you be a part of. I have my podcast. I have all my social links. If you want to tip me, I have Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal, like everything's down below. Normally I sit and really talk about that, but I think I need to go like get a glass of water, step outside for a minute. That was a really powerful reading, and I knew it was going to be. I knew today was going to be something different. But in any case, thank you so much for listening. I love you. I appreciate you. If this was your pile and you are claiming this destiny and you are claiming this new chapter, please leave me a book emoji down below, because me too. Hashtag me too. Wait, no, that is a hashtag and that means something else. No, I'm sorry. Not hashtag me too. I take it back. Sorry. No. Hashtag new book. Hashtag new book. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be problematic. And leave me a book emoji. Anyways, I love you so much, pile number one. And please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. All right, pile number two. This is going to be your reading if you chose the rain cloud emoji. And for you, we're basically looking at this from a left to right perspective. So where we are, kind of like where we were / where we are now, and then going into what our future will be looking like. And you have the World, the Hanged One, Death, King of Diamonds, Two of Diamonds. And basically, we're just going to start right over here at the left, and I'll talk about it progressively as we go forward this way. And then we also have some other cards for you that I'll be pulling out a little bit later, as well as we're doing a little bit of book divination today as well, which I know how much y'all love when we do book divination on the channel. So we will be doing a little bit of that at the end of your reading. So first and foremost, we have the World. And the World is the completion of something, right? The World honestly is a very favorable card. I don't see it ever as something super negative, in the sense that it's like, if you've been hoping for like a good outcome, good things are here. Good things are coming. And this is where we are right now. We're at the precipice of closing out a major cycle, a major life chapter. And the World says that like you've learned the lessons that you needed to learn from what you've experienced, and now you're ready to basically relish in the fruits of your labors and relish in the good things that are now coming into your life because of the work that you've done. Now, this can come at like literal physical labor, or this can also be internal work that you've done. You've grown as a person internally because of the work that you've put into yourself. So this I see is maybe where we like recently were. It's like the recent past. The Hanged One tells me that it's almost like you thought you were done because of the World. You were like, I've healed from this situation. I've healed from this, and now I can finally move on. Here's the thing though, in the present moment, we have death. And no, of course, this is not literal death. It's not physical death. The death card is resemblant of that of like the winter phase, right? When we are going through a major transformation. So it's basically, to me, death can be a difficult card to work with because especially if you loved where you were in life previously, death can kind of come as a rude awakening, right? If you loved where you were and all of a sudden you have this metaphorical death, that could be very devastating. But if you didn't love where you were, this can come as a really good thing. This can come as a very welcomed change in your life because you're ready to move on from where you previously felt stuck. Because the Hanged One is like, to me, it was just kind of like the roadblock between these things. Because the Hanged One, it's all about being put on like a pause. It's being stopped on purpose. And often this is us stopping ourselves sometimes, maybe because we need to regroup after, moving into this new chapter, this new part of our life, this new way of being, or maybe like actually moving into a brand new experience. This is like somebody who's been in a 10-year career and then decides to change it, right? That's like a new chapter and we're pausing to get comfortable there. Maybe you've moved to a new country, a new state, and this can be pausing to really put down some roots and sink deeper into yourself and into the experience. But sometimes that pause, we don't always enjoy it, right? Especially in today's world. Like, have you seen how fast technology has grown and changed the world? And I really believe that the human mind has not been able to keep up. And so I feel like it's almost something that I feel like it's not talked about enough, how slow and intentional living can be a very beautiful thing in today's fast-paced world. Especially if we feel like we always have to get up and go, 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 go. The Hanged One can also be a point of frustration where we want to get up, we want to go, we want to make change, but we're simply not ready. And to me, where you are right now, ready or not, the change is here. But the point I was trying to make is you maybe have moved on from a part of something in your life. Then you were kind of in this like pause, reframing moment. And maybe you've come around full circle again and realized that you weren't done, right? You weren't done with what you thought you had put behind you. And this isn't to me like a relapse kind of thing. I'm not speaking on like addiction, relapse, things like that. I feel like there would be very different cards here if that's what we were going to be talking about. But to me, this is about like revisiting something from a new and changed perspective. Like, if I could give you an example of this in my own life, I've told y'all so many times that Kloee Taylor does not have a family-oriented bone in her body. Like, I will walk away from family over and over and over and over. And I feel like in my own life, this served me extremely well. Like, I don't have a lot of those trappings that people fall into where they can't move to a location they want to because it's too far from family, or they can't wear what they want to dinner because their grandma's going to see it. Like, I don't have that. I am very much authentically myself. I don't care what my family thinks of me, and I don't make decisions based on their happiness. I make decisions based on my happiness. However, the way that I feel like this might be something that you just need to hear because you relate, and maybe that's why I'm being called to speak on it. But just like I said, take my example here. So, and like apply it to your life in any other sector. But what I've come to realize upon coming through my own Saturn return and revisiting how I feel about family as I get older and I watch my family age as well, because I'm the youngest in my family. So everybody is older than me. And like my oldest brother is 19 years older than me. So there's quite an age gap as well. Like literally where a whole other generation could have been born, my family just doesn't have that. So, Recently, though, I've been revisiting feelings about family and how I was so focused through all of my adult life on becoming hyper independent. And how, again, I do think that served me really well. But now I'm at a point in my life where I feel like all that independence got me exactly where I was trying to go. But now I just want to share it with those people. And now I have to be like, and I've been honing those relationships and reforging them. And, it's been an ongoing process, but I, I feel like I'm able to see now only how maybe it didn't have to be so exiting from my family's lives for such a long time. Maybe I didn't have to be so fiercely independent. Maybe I could have let myself be more open and receptive to familial love and connections throughout the process. And I don't want to say that I'm full of regret because I'm not. I don't believe in regretting life's choices, but I'm only seeing now how blissfully short life can be. And I'm having a lot of those really hard feels about like, oh my gosh, like someday these people in my life will not be here. And I mean, goddess willing, I will still be here because I'm younger. But, my parents are significantly older and they had me when they were like 40 and I'm 31. So you do the math. Um, I'm realizing that maybe I didn't have to go so full tilt and maybe it would have been okay. And now I'm like revisiting all of these like old familial wounds that I thought I had healed from that I hadn't. I'd healed from them in some way, but now I'm hitting them with a new perspective and a fresh lens. And this, I feel like it might not be family for you. I also fully want to just acknowledge that some people go no contact with their parents and you need to do that for the rest of your life. Like it keeps you safe and you happy. And this is not a space where I'm ever going to demonize that and tell you that you need to forgive people that have really hurt you because no, you don't. That is some bullshit that society tries to tell us. And actually, no, you don't. You are fully capable of living the life of your wildest dreams away from abuse and toxicity. However, I'm giving you this example because, there is sometimes when we think we've healed from something, it can come back around in a new way. And I know that was like really vulnerable. I'm sorry. I don't know why Spirit wanted me to talk on that. If you needed to hear that, can you just leave me a rain cloud emoji down below? Like, I know we get really personal and vulnerable a lot in my tarot card readings, but that is like a very fresh thing for me. It was very vulnerable. I just want to acknowledge myself and my authenticity for a moment. But that's my point, is it doesn't mean that you're going to keep rehashing the past right now. It's that you're seeing it from a new and changed perspective. And now you're having to really, really, really let go. Let go of the old conditioning, let go of the ways that have not served you, let go of any like hatred that you're holding on to or anything that is keeping you from living your most abundant, authentic expression of life. And something that I don't think I've said here is that, I really focused in all of my adult life on being hyper independent and making it. I really forged into a career. I did a lot of those things instead of making familial connections or staying close to family, which again served me extremely well. But now that I feel like I received what I was after, I'm realizing that maybe I didn't need to focus on like trying to get the love that I didn't receive by being successful. Maybe I could have just let myself be loved in the process. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I hope that makes sense. I feel like that came out a little weird just now, but that's my point, is like, you realize when you go through something like this, you think that you're done, but then this whole like trapdoor subsection opens up and you're like, oh, maybe my intentions for this weren't as clear as I thought. Maybe now I have to look at it this way and I have to allow myself to be transformed through this experience. And it's not easy. Like I said, the death card is not an easy card. I don't think I've ever really covered that when I talk about the death card. It's not easy. The death card is like a total transformation of who you are. it's not just like, oh, I'm going to think this part of my life different. It's a total transformation and reframing from the inside out of you. So just basically, if you're going through that right now, whether it's familial, career, financially, especially financially, because I have some good news for those of you that are feeling it in the finance department of your life, wherever this is romantically, maybe you're going through it. It's not easy. And I just want you to know that, like, my heart is with you. This community is with you, and it will pass. This too will pass. Because your future, we have the King of Diamonds and the Two of Diamonds. And the King of Diamonds, I love, because especially if you've been struggling like monetarily, abundantly, financially, this really speaks to you fully standing in your most abundant, authentic power. This is you making money, feeling really abundantly cared for, not being afraid of doing the work, and stepping into a chapter that is filled with the things that you actually materially desire. And in the future, even beyond that, we do have the Two of Diamonds, which I always kind of feel, especially from a future perspective, the Two of Diamonds almost is a little bit more of a caution, as you are going to have to be trying to find more balance, whether it is like balancing the checkbook, balancing the different areas of your life, but it's almost like you are getting exactly what you asked for, pile number 2, but it's going to come with new responsibility, and you have to be ready to take that mantle when it's given to you, because I do see that this could be a little bit of an upset, and it might also happen a lot faster than you thought. And I say that because we also have this card of TikTok, which to me says that time is really speeding up on these things. We also have regeneration, which literally the difficult card that comes with death as well is, with death, regeneration does come, but it doesn't come without like the fire first, right? Having a fire like burn everything down and create literal death, or figurative death, I should say, before new things can come. And then we have milk and honey, which I love milk and honey from a manifesting perspective, because the milk and honey card is about like reaping what you sow and going into like a paradise state where milk and honey flow freely, where the old past you isn't the person that you're operating from anymore. You're operating as this new version and promising to yourself that you're not going to be this old version of yourself again that is no longer serving you. So I want to read this regeneration card just because I feel it's funny. Pile number 1, we did the same thing. We read one of the cards out of the book because I just felt called to do it. So that's number 46. And it says, rebirth, second chances, new opportunities. Second chances are available to you now. Whatever opportunities you thought were dead are now revived in a more authentic, stronger form. Whatever you may have perceived as a failure or a loss is now being replaced by something better and more powerful growing in its place. The rebirth is assured. Step into your new life. Destiny is being fulfilled in wondrous ways. So the sooner you let go of this with this death card, which you're presently in, the sooner you're going to get to that King of Pentacles and that Two of Pentacles, which pentacles in this deck are represented by diamonds. So then we also have for you the Pearls of Wisdom, which this is a little bit more of a lengthy description. This is a new deck to me, so I've been reading the descriptions from the book because I'm trying to learn it. I actually just put a whole reading up on my Patreon using this deck predominantly. And so we're just going to read this one right out of the book. It says, Pearls of Wisdom, choosing thoughts, mindfulness, believing is seeing, and confidence. I am more than my thoughts. Within the powerful currents of your mind rest many pearls of wisdom, filled with inflections of light and shadow. You have collected a great repertoire of knowledge based on everything you've learned. The ups and downs, the trials and tribulations, these have all made you wiser while enforcing your strength. We may not always, however, be consciously aware of how our beliefs shape us over time. We tend to focus more easily on our outer world after all. When feelings of self-doubt or inner judgment sneak into our thoughts, we may latch onto these as a way of working them out, like a problem to solve. We can choose to ruminate on these feelings even though we know they aren't healthy or productive. Or we can look at them with compassion and say, not today. As humans, we will always be faced with external beliefs, opinions, judgments, and negative forces. There is no shortage of low vibrational information in the world. We are all prone to absorbing these from time to time. Negative thoughts may appear in our subconscious like pushy advertising that demands our attention. We can choose to buy into them, or we can greet them with indifference and show them the door. How can I be more gentle with my thoughts? Is a question that you can think on for yourself. Over time, what we tend to ruminate on may eventually add up, but this is not one of those messages that says only think positive thoughts or else you're doomed. This is merely a gentle gaze at the thoughts that do not serve us, in knowing that they are temporary, that it's perfectly okay to greet them with compassion, then let them go. When we focus on something over and over again, it tends to wire familiar pathways in our mind. We may find that we often end up taking those same mental routes if we aren't able to see them for what they are. Take a moment to think about how you are investing your thoughts. Can you perhaps show them a bit more love and support? If you find that you're able to identify with which thoughts are welcomed and which are not, that's a great way to begin building a new mental routine towards enforcing your strength. So this to me really is like, you have gained a lot from this experience, and you don't need to pack up and live in how heartbreaking, how tough it's been to move on, to go through this rebirthing and death process. Yes, that's part of the process, and we need to honor that. But it's also okay to choose happier, positive, lighter, kinder, more self-loving thoughts, because that is something that I always teach on this channel. If you're new here, is that number one, psychology and spirituality belong together. I really believe like science and spirituality, they actually can coexist. And I really love the concept of bridging the gaps between those. But also, when it comes to the neural pathways in your brain, what you think matters. And it doesn't mean that if you think you're going to get hurt, that you're going to get hurt. It's that, let's say you constantly entertain catastrophizing thoughts. And please remember, y'all, I am not a licensed therapist. I know a lot about psychology and I love to talk about it, but please make sure that you are seeking help from a mental health professional if that's what you're needing right now. I'm going to start putting links for that in my description as well, because I feel like I always say it, but I need to actually have like reoccurring stuff in my description for those of you that need that, because I'm not a therapist. But what I was saying is that those neural pathways in your mind, if you're always having catastrophizing thoughts and you're constantly entertaining them, you're going to keep following that pathway. Every time something happens, you're going to go immediately into catastrophe mode. And it takes work to be the observer of your thought and go, actually, we don't need to go down that road. We don't need to go down that road. We don't need to catastrophize what's happening. It's actually okay for us to put our focus somewhere else. And it does take effort, especially in the beginning, but over time, you won't notice that you go to catastrophizing immediately when you change the way that you think. This is something that also really goes hand in hand with manifestation, is when you change the way you think about your situations, your manifestations come in easier and easier. Our brains really do be like computers. We can program new things in anytime we want to. You can upgrade your hardware anytime you want to. So now I have a couple of affirmations for you, and then we have a couple of passages from Brianna Weiss' ceremony that I'll be closing your reading with that I definitely think you should stick around for, because always really powerful. So the affirmations I have for you with this reading are, I am one with the wind, the trees, and the sky. Oh, and there's a dolphin in here. That's cute. And then we have, I welcome miracles into my life. So I'm just going to tell you right now, pile number 2, if you've been really going through it with that regeneration and death card, I want you to just, especially when it comes to your spiritual team, if you're open to it, which I respect that not everybody is, but if you're open to it, I really encourage you to just say a little prayer. Say a little prayer to your spiritual team, to the universe, to God, whatever it is that you believe in, and just say, I am open to receiving a miracle. I promise you that what you ask for, you will receive. It literally works like magic. Like literally yesterday, I asked my spiritual team I was just like, can you just like hold my hand and lead me down a path for this thing, this sector of my life? And from that moment, I have had nothing but synchronicity after synchronicity after synchronicity. Like I literally walked outside last night and saw a shooting star. Like just things like when I like it just there's more to it than that, and I'm not going to go into detail, but just ask for a miracle and it will happen. Now we're going to go ahead and read from Ceremony, which I will be linking this book down below. This is a book by Brianna Wiest. It's one of my personal favorites. I've read it a couple of times. Really great book. I already have passages marked for you. So we're going to go ahead and just look at those passages. So we have, if you could only see how many answered prayers you have within your hands, you would never fear the future. You would never fear what's next. That's funny. I didn't actually pre-read these, I swear. And I was talking about praying, which like, also, I just want to make room for anybody that struggles with like religious indoctrination or religious trauma. I've been there. I've done that. I was born and raised Mormon, and I'm no longer Mormon or religious at all. I just want to say, like, praying doesn't have to be something that you only do to God. And I believe that prayer can be so many different things. An act of prayer can be so many different things. And if it is too traumatizing, please do not pray. Like, do meditation or something instead. I just want to make space for that because I know that some people, it really is that difficult. And I've been there. I've been in a place at a point in time where I was very traumatized religiously, that if somebody had suggested praying for a miracle to me, I would have been livid. So just like, please be kind to yourself and know that it's okay to be wherever you are with that right now. But that is funny to me that I was talking, oh my gosh, and this is on page 111. I was talking about prayers, and literally one of your passages was about prayer. I want to read that one more time. If you could only see how many answered prayers you have within your hands, you would never fear the future. You would never fear what's next. And then we also have page 133, and it says, what will fill you is what you are open to. There's an endless bounty. It pours from every corner of the earth and from every moment in time. Which also, you did get that King of Pentacles card, which definitely talks about like bounty and financial gain, material gain, and creating that for yourself. So that is what I have for you. Thank you so much for tuning in, pile number 2. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. Thank you for being here. And if you would like more from me around the web, I do have my Patreon linked for you down below. I did put out that empty house tour if you want to see it. We also have a community event coming up that's Patreon only. We're going to be doing vision boards for the new year together. And we're actually going to work on like building a theme for ourselves. You can share your vision board if you want to. Obviously, you do not have to, but you absolutely are allowed to if you want to. And we're just going to basically have like a creating, like if you need people that want to create visions for themselves in the new year, this is your opportunity to like join this. And even if you're not super into Patreon, you can think of this like that 1111 because it's at the 1111 tier. That's like your ticket price, but you also get a boatload of extra content when you join. Like you unlock, I want to say over 300 posts from me. And many of those are videos that are tarot card readings that you cannot get anywhere else. Like we do weekly energy readings. I do extra pick a cards there. I also share my lifestyle content there now. I've kind of stopped putting it here and just putting it on Patreon only. So definitely check that out. I love the community that we have on Patreon. And if you would like to support me more, I would certainly appreciate it if you would subscribe and like the video. And if you're feeling super generous, no expectations whatsoever. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal listed down below. I do accept tips for my readings. And newly, I also set up my Throne account, which allows you to send me gifts from like multiple different stores. And we can also like crowdfund things. Like I have my camera that I'm trying to buy on there that we can crowdfund for now. So again, no expectation, but if you want to check it out, all of those links are down below. If you want to send me a cute little housewarming gift, you know, there's lots of stuff on there for my house because I did just move. But again, please, 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 not an expectation at all. I genuinely put that there because people ask me for it. So, and also, of course, last but not certainly least, I have my socials. I'm at Kloee Taylor all around the web, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Please come follow me. I've been doing more like tarot card readings on my socials. So if you want like some little extras in your day, be sure you come follow. And I love you so much, Pumpkin. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye. Hello there, pile number 3, and welcome into your reading. So we're starting out with basically from left to right. We're looking at the recent past. It could possibly be where you currently still are, moving into the like either recent or like soon to come future. Also could be the present. Those kind of like blended lines a little. And then these 2 cards will represent your future. And then we also have some oracle cards I'll be going over with you. And then at the very end, I'll also be doing a little bit of book divination from Brianna Weiss's book Ceremony, which is one of my personal favorites, and it is linked down below for you, as well as all the cards. By the way, I link all the decks down below for you too. But let's go ahead and let's talk about it. So this could be the recent past, or you might currently still be feeling this. We have the 7 of Diamonds, the 8 of Diamonds, Strength, Page of Diamonds, Page of Crystals. So this is very cut, clear, clean, and dry to me. And that is that the 7 of Diamonds represents, to me in this instance, a little bit of needing to like sustain and tend to what you have created in this lifetime. Now, that doesn't mean that it has to be some kind of a business or creative project. This can be literally like you are the creator of your life. Truly. So this is every single sector of your life, your well-being, your family, where you live, what you drive, what your, did I say career already? Your career, what your hobbies are, right? You create every aspect of your life. And even if you're co-creating it with somebody else, or also, you know, we're always co-creating with the universe. To me, the 7 of Diamonds says you've come across something good and you're wanting to create sustainability within it. Because the 7 of Diamonds, if you'll notice, it's this person surrounded by like flower blossoms. And to me, a flower in full bloom always resembles like you blossoming, but blossoming in multiple different sectors of your life. And in order to keep that blossom strong before the winter comes, right? Because everything in life is a cycle. And that doesn't mean that you're going to lose something really precious to you. You could sustain very long term, but I do feel like when we're trying to sustain that blossomed state, we do have to, you know, water the flowers, water those areas of our lives, pay attention to them, sing to them, give them sunlight, you know? So whatever areas of your life, I do feel like there's a lot of flourish happening. But here's the interesting thing. The continuum of the 7 of Diamonds, your reading literally builds upon itself. So the continuum from sustainability here is the 8 of Diamonds, which is literally honing your craft and getting a little more specific, because where the 7 of Diamonds is multiple different things, the 8 of Diamonds says pick one and flourish that. So the 8 of Diamonds is like perfecting one area of your life, and perfecting isn't even the right word, because I think that can lead to perfectionist-like thoughts, which we don't need to do anything perfectly, but we can do something to mastery, right? When we talk about self-mastery, you can do something to mastery. There are things in life that we can master. And for you, there is something that you need to focus directly on. And I actually didn't do this for anyone else, but I'm going to do it for you because I just feel like we need a little more clarity than that. So just let me gather the cards from the other piles. So we have the full deck here. Since you're the last pile, I can actually do this with the same deck. I'm just going to pull an extra card for you in this. I mean, we have other cards too, but I want to pull an extra one over this 8 of diamonds just to see what it is that you are needing to put your focus and attention on. Now, it could be different things for a few of you. I am hearing that from Spirit that like maybe it doesn't need to be super specific because there are so many of you that chose this pile. It could be building your business. It could be working on a promotion, I'm hearing. It could be deciding that you want to start a family and asking yourself who you need to become before you become a parent. It could be, manifesting a new home. It could be a creative pursuit or hobby of some kind that you're wanting to take up. But what are you currently trying to master? King of Swords. So King of Swords, this is interesting because this to me covers all bases. So the King of Swords, this is somebody who is a master of their mind. And I love this because you have come to the right person if you need help with mastery of the mind. Don't get me wrong, I don't think that I am at a point in my life where I have truly mastered my mind, but I do think that I know how. And I do think that I have a lot of like helpful information. So you've come to the right person. Number one, like as a tarot card reader, everybody reads differently. And I do feel like you are in the right place. With King of Swords, especially if this is your first time on my channel and you've never been here before, which, I was going to say like, if you are new here, can you leave me like a little diamond emoji, like the little gem down below? I'm just curious. I want to say hello to your beautiful faces. So just leave me that if this is like your first time. But King of Swords, this is the mastery of the mind. And the thing is, when you're trying to master a skill, a craft, something in your life, what people get backwards is we think that we will not be whole and complete until we have the car, the big house, the 2.5 kids, the perfect career. We're making $20,000 a month, right? We think that our happiness is really contingent on having that. And the thing is, when you actually learn to master your mind first, you start to ask yourself this question. This is like the most important question to mastering the mind is, what kind of person do I need to become that has this thing or this experience that I desire? Who do I need to be to have this experience? And then you have to take the action steps to become that person. So let's say that you want to be a New York Times bestselling author. Okay, this is just an example. You want to be a New York Times bestselling author. Number one, you have to get brutally, and I don't even like the word brutal honesty because I don't think honesty has to be brutal, especially if we're directing it at other people. But I think when it comes to being honest with yourself, sometimes you need that brutal honesty. You have to become brutally honest first about why you want to become a New York Times bestseller author, okay? Why? Is it because you want other people to think a certain way about you? Is it because you want to prove somebody wrong? Is it because you want a certain amount of money? Or is it because you want to change millions of people's lives with your work? You need to get brutally honest and clear on why. And if it is making a bunch of money, great. If it is being famous, great. You just need to be honest about your intention and take it further. You know, let's say it's about money for you. Then you have to ask yourself, why do I desire that kind of money? Because it's not just about the money. What does money do for you that you think that you need that much of it? Is it because you want to help millions of people by being a person that has good intentions with money? Is it because you desire freedom, right? To travel the world, do what you want on your own time frame? Is it because you want to use that money to buy a castle in another country? Like, I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there, okay? And you have to keep asking yourself why until you whittle it down to like a word. And freedom is like a great answer, I feel like, for money, because when you whittle down your belief system down to what it is that you actually desire, the more you can get it down to one solid word, the more you can start working on the energy of becoming that. Because let's say that you ultimately come out with the reason that you want to be a New York Times bestseller is because you want to feel free. Then you have to start creating freedom in your daily life. So no matter what that looks like, if there's something that currently restricts you, you have to start finding ways to resolve that restriction. And even if it's hard work, my point to all of this is that when you actually challenge your mind to think new thoughts, become the person internally that you want to become, but when you actually receive that level of mastery, when you get there, number one, you're going to reach it so much faster. Number two, you're going to feel like you're worthy of it and that you deserve it, which I think is like the hardest part of receiving what it is that we want as a people, is we start to tell ourselves and like backpedal all the reasons we don't deserve it and why we shouldn't have received it. But if you're already living as the person that has mastered something, it's going to feel totally normal walking into it. And I would highly encourage, if this story is resonating with you that I'm kind of giving, listen to my podcast, Divine Authenticity. I want to say it was episode 115 or 114. It was like within the last few weeks, where I talked about manifesting my dream waterfront home. And like, I was literally living like it was already mine. And then it just like happened. So, and it felt like super normal. This house was totally mine. Of course, there was moments of anxiety and uncertainty because that's normal. But now that I'm in it, I was like, oh yeah, this was totally my house. It was always supposed to be my house. Like, this house wanted me as much as I wanted it. And my point being is that this works for anything in life. This mental, like working on the mental aspect, works for anything. So mastering your mind in a certain area, whether it is believing that you're worthy, believing that you are a certain kind of person that can have what it is that you want, believing that you will have children, believing that you will have a family, believing that you will have your dream home, believing that you will get that promotion, believing that you will have that career. Working on your mentality behind it is going to take you there so much faster. So that is like how you will reach that point of mastery. Then we have the present moment, or like the soon future, as like really soon, like within the next week, if it's not happening currently, as strength, which again, the word for you, pile number 3, is sustainability, because strength to me is what helps us create sustainability, right? We get stronger as we learn more valuable life lessons. This isn't to me like physical strength. This is mental strength, internal strength. And it's gentle. It's not this super like rod, hot iron, like moving fast, going. It's this like slow, quiet, steady, sustainable strength. And this to me says that as you're working towards mastery, as you're working on your mindset, as you're moving towards what it is that you actually desire to hold and to have, that sounded like marriage, like to have and to hold from this day forward. Maybe it is marriage for you. Maybe that's why that came through. But the strength card to me, it's saying that you will have the inner strength. So stop telling yourself that you can't or you won't or you don't, because you have it. You have it. You will have it if you don't already, if you're not already existing in this point of feeling stronger, because that's what's going to happen as you create these new habits with yourself, these new ways of being, this new way of thinking. As you start to define yourself by a version of your future that you see for yourself versus a version of the past, you will get stronger and stronger and stronger with it over time. And that really is, to me, what you need to hear right now, basically. And the beautiful part of this is, again, we have more building blocks. So now we're into the Page of Diamonds, because the page comes technically after the 10. So like you got 7, 8, then we skip 9 and 10. We're in the page now. And the Page of Diamonds, this card is, to me, this is about seeing some kind of monetary success. It can also be having a new idea for monetary gain, or for like something in the physical world. Maybe money came out in the example as well, because you're looking towards financial stability, financial health. Like, I get it. Girl, I am the resident Taurus in this house. If y'all didn't know, I'm a Taurus sun, and Taurus is the ruler of personal finance. Like, that is, they rule over the second house, which is the house of personal finance. So believe when a Taurus starts talking about money, they know some shit. And sustainability. Taurus's like theme is sustainability. So with the Page of Diamonds, though, I feel like you're starting to see it actualize. Like, it's like the thing that was in your heart, the jewel of your heart, you start to hold it out visually because it's here. You've manifested it. But I also think that this is not as far as it needs to go. You're going to realize how you can use these principles and what you're teaching yourself on this, like, basically on this like train to self-mastery. You're going to realize that you're not even close to done. You're going to realize all the areas of your life that you're going to be able to change with this, because you're starting to see the concrete proof of what you've done. Then we move into the Page of Crystals, which, again, this brings up our mentality again. Or no, excuse me, this brings up our creative passion, not mentality, because the crystals in this deck are wands, which I forget that sometimes when I read this deck. I always want to think that these are swords because they're pointy at the top, but they're actually the wands. So Page of Crystals is about following passion's lead and letting yourself get inspired and fired up by new ideas, new innovative, creative ideas, things that fill you with confidence. And it's not necessarily about taking action yet. Your reading is a little more open-ended, pile number 3, and we're going to see what the oracle cards have to say. But with Page of Crystals, this to me is, it's very like new, right? Pages to me are like newer energy. They're not quite at the point of like the knight charging forward. They're obviously not the queen or the king making that sustainability thing, but you're well on your way. So this is like an intermediate reading, I feel like, meaning this isn't giving us a full-blown conclusion. And I do feel like in the future, when I do another one of these readings, which I will, make sure that you come back and choose another pile, because there will be a continuum for you. But Page of Crystals to me says that, so you're seeing sustainability and now you want to create something with what you have learned about yourself. And this could also be the result of like having a person that is like really passionate, like a new love interest enter your life. Not always, but for some of you, this could be the case, like actually materializing a person of some kind, manifesting a person. But let's go ahead and see what we have. And also, if this reading is resonating with you, if you already put the gem down there, like the little crystal emoji, because you're new, don't feel like you have to put another comment. But if you want to, because your significating emoji was the crescent moon, or excuse me, the bar of chocolate, because it was the bar of chocolate, can you leave me one of those down below? I just want to know how many of you picked this reading, because I feel like yours has been the most like interesting and different from the other two. So just let me know. So we do have for you the card of Imagine. We have Higher Power. And we have Community. See, listen, I bet you a lot of you didn't pick this one, because either that or there's a lot of you out there that are wanting to build community, because what is going to happen? Mark my words, like journal this shit, because I swear to you, what is going to happen is So we do have a little more of a conclusion here, but I still stand by what I said, that eventually there will be like another continuum from this. But some of you are going to be so mesmerized with this new process, this new way of being, and how you've up-leveled and changed your life. And I need to say, just if any of you don't know, this is not like sponsored or anything. I mean, the video is already sponsored by Ritual, but thank you, by the way, Ritual, because I'm talking about it. But I talk about this all the time on my podcast and just on my channel in general, because it's something that literally changed my life. Truly, within like a 3-month span, my life changed 100%. The app Superhuman, I want to say that the app has like a 1 or 2 week free trial if you want to try it. Again, not affiliate. Like, I just really genuinely love the product. I've paid for it myself out of pocket for multiple months now. I actually downloaded the app on the free trial and I was like, I'm just going to delete it when I'm done. This app changed my life so dramatically that I have continued to pay for it because I think it's 100% worth it. But the app Superhuman, if you haven't checked it out, it's technically referred to as a meditation app, but they're not meditations. Like, there's walking meditations, writing meditations, pep talk meditations, but like, to me, they're more like active meditations. There are some seated ones, but there's a lot of active meditations, which if any of y'all are like me, I do not like to be seated and meditating 90% of the time. The active meditations work better for me. And this app literally had me changing the way that I see and believe about myself, and it changed my life. So if this is resonating with you, I would highly encourage you to check out that app because it was just so good. It is so good. I still use it. I listened to it this morning. Really fantastic. But anyways, back to the reading. So because you are learning so much about yourself, you are becoming stronger. You are so much goodness and self-development is coming through in this reading for you. You are going to want to create a community around this. Now, this could be a legitimate, like, business styled community where you actually connect other people together about this stuff. You want to join communities with it. Some of you are going to create that community though. Some of you are going to be the person that, like, you either get all your friends on board with it, your family, or you start like an online or physical community of some kind based around this work, because it has been so impactful that you're going to inspire the people around you and want to create more change for others. So really powerful. This is powerful to me. If you're somebody that has been wanting to, like, find your thing or your purpose or your place, it's going to come from doing this work. And higher power, it's like literally a higher power steps in and is like, hey, this shit works and it's serious. So get serious. This to me is literally, some of you were just led to this reading by your spiritual team. Just they're here telling you that, because your reading was the only one out of all 3 of them today that I set intention before every single pile. But when I put your pile down, I set the intention that I wanted any spiritual teams, spirit guides, passed away loved ones, anybody that needed to get a message through to someone to come through in this pile. So know that your reading in particular, if you felt drawn to this one, you were brought here by your spiritual team, your guides, your guardian angels. Your higher power literally was like, listen up. Then we have imagine, which this is literally dreaming, imagining your life into being. And this is what I was saying when I said, like, define yourself by a version of you that you see in the future for yourself, not by a version of the past. That is going to change your whole life. Promise. Then we have convergence, which I'm actually going to read this one from the book that comes with it, because this deck is brand new to me and I'm not super well versed in every single card yet. I don't know that I ever will be. This deck is thick with 2 C's. But convergence. Okay, convergence. It says, the meeting of two waters, nexus point, the age of Pisces meets the age of Aquarius. Ooh, I just got the chills. I learned from the past to build a brighter future. I am one, I am all. Many stories and ancient mystery schools have taught us that each astrological age ushers humanity into a period of global transformation. The age of Pisces, which we are now transitioning from, marked the dawn of the world religion, a time when rigid structures and spiritual traditions were of great focus. The ignited profound wisdom and knowledge, but also the rise of patriarchy and division. Many wounds were deeply ingrained into our collective subconscious, and we must now transmute and heal those shadows. Currently, we sit at the meeting point of two converging eras. As the past and future unite and collide, the wheel is shifting towards the forthcoming age of Aquarius, a prophesied time of great social change and technological advancements, merging all that has been learned and lost from the preceding cycles. The divine feminine and divine masculine will continue to weave together into higher frequencies of awareness, opening new doorways for the next age to truly shine through. Convergence evokes a new epoch of innovation, discovery, and interconnection. We may not yet be in the new age, but we can look to the future with caution and hope. As one, we are part of the collective, in spirit, voice, and heart. We can each create change within our own timeline to expand outward into the greater whole. If we thirst for unity, love, and healing, we must first look within and tend to our wounds. Much growth can be gained through discerning times past to see how far we have come and how the future may merge with us. This key encourages you to be soft with yourself. Take each pivot point or feeling of imbalance as an opportunity for change. Without being challenged, we cannot blossom into our fullest potential. This is how we do better. This is how we soulfully evolve and awaken to our divinity. I am a huge proponent of this. I love this card. I have never drawn this one, I don't believe, but I love this card because it reminds me that what is reflected outward in your life is what is going on internally. And it doesn't mean that you have to take responsibility for every other person's actions in your life or every situation, but we can decide to get curious about why something is being presented in our life and what that could mean for us as an individual. It's actually really powerful and really potent when you can stop and look at your life that way, like more metaphorically. I honestly feel like it is what makes somebody a mystic, is when you start to understand that all the questions don't necessarily create answers, they create more questions. And it's okay to just be in awe of life and be open to what could be discerned from every situation. It's okay to be open and remain curious and not have it all figured out. But something that I think is interesting here is you are part of a wave of collective souls that came here to shift humanity. And because of that, your work is deeply needed. Like, your own personal work is a gift to the collective, because what we do internally always reflects back out. So if you're constantly in this vibration of love, of hope, of acceptance, encouragement, that is what is going to ripple out of you too. And you're going to see it continuously reflect back. Don't you notice how when you feel really like judgmental of others, you notice that other people are more judgmental of you? Or when you're giving love and abundance, you receive a lot of love and abundance back. I feel like that always coincides in my life. And this is why it's so important to mind your mind. So we also have a couple of affirmations, and then we're going to get into your book divination. So we have, I am at peace with my past. This is one, the past is really coming through as a big theme for you, pile number 3, because again, you're writing the script on who you want to become and then deciding to become that person. And so make peace with the version of yourself that is outdated, that no longer supports who you're becoming. And then I am a vibrational match to all that I desire. I feel like you have the hardest job of all, meaning We think that when we want change, we have to go out there and get it. And I honestly think that that's the easy part of change, if we have to go outside of ourselves to get it. When it's all internal work that has been deeply ingrained, that's the hard work, in my opinion. And you have that in front of you. It's a lot of deep internal mental work and maybe even processing through the body as well. Now, let's go ahead and see what you have for the book divination. I did already go ahead and mark this page for you. And oh my gosh, your sticky note is also shaped like a gem. I feel like a lot of newcomers are going to pick this pile. That's funny. I didn't do that on purpose either. I ripped it because there was another orange sticky note from another pile in here. And I didn't want to confuse them because I randomly picked your page for your pile. But it looks like the gem emoji. Oh yeah, so this is the book Ceremony by Brianna Wiest. I will have it linked down below. It's one of my personal favorites, an excellent read, one that I always recommend. And Brianna Wiest is just great. All of her work is great. But I'm doing page 38 and 39 for you, which is these two. And it says, we're going to read 38 first. Finding yourself is not an immediately beautiful thing. It's less meeting your soul at the mountaintop and more sorting through the debris that prevent you and more about sorting through the debris that prevents you from seeing the path. It's less falling into peacefulness and more confronting the inner voices that stir up self-loathing. It's less revelations and more honestly allowing the heaviest thoughts to simply pass without taking action that disrupts your day. I know it is counterintuitive, but finding yourself is one of the hardest things you will ever do. And it is also the most life-giving. There is nothing else that will bring you back home to yourself. And then we have, how do you figure out who you are? You stay right where you are. You dig. You learn the simplest facts about yourself. You date yourself. You daydream until you discover something that makes your chest feel even the smallest spark of hope. You question your darkest thoughts. You create rituals, soul-opening routines. You begin exactly where you are, with exactly what you have, and you work until every detail is made beautiful. You let yourself feel what you feel. You begin to act in self-loving ways, even and maybe most especially when you fear you don't deserve it. You realize that you're growing through the discomfort. You learn to let yourself be. Ooh, that one's powerful. Go back and listen to that again, sis. I love, Brianna Wiest. She's so good. She's so good. That whole book is magnificent. All of her work. I've read most, if not all of her books, I think, except for one. She's fantastic. But especially if you're on like a soul growth journey, she is really, really good for soul growth. But in any case, pile number 3, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so grateful for you. I appreciate you. I love you. And please know that if no one has told you yet today, I believe in you. I believe in your dreams. I believe in the person that you're becoming. And if you need to hear that, play that back again too. And thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you so much to Ritual for sponsoring today's video. Please don't forget to check that out in the description box down below. And if you would like to support me further, I do have my Patreon available to you, where there is actually a reading that I just put out with this deck right here. It's like an ocean messages that I put out just for patrons. We have a vision board party coming up on the 23rd, where if you need like a bestie to sit and do your vision board with you, please join the Patreon, come to the live stream. We're going to be doing it as a group, sharing our vision boards, sharing our dreams. It's going to be really fun. And then I also recently did an empty house tour because I just moved. If you want to see that, it's on my Patreon as well. We also have like weekly energy updates and all kinds of good stuff that happens over there. Super, super, super good. I also have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below if you would like to tip me for my readings. And I also set up my Throne profile recently, which that's basically like a gifting service where I can link things from like multiple websites, and you can also like crowdfund certain items. Like I have my camera on there that I've been saving for forever to upgrade for the channel. things like that. And some of y'all asked where you could send me a housewarming gift. Please, no pressure for any of these things that I'm mentioning right now. I'm literally just telling you because people ask all the time about the Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal, as well as where they can send gifts and things. So if you would like to support that for me, all of those links are down below. Don't forget to check out the podcast, Divine Authenticity, new episodes every Monday morning. And my socials. I'm at Kloee Taylor everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Don't fall for any scammer accounts. I have the official at Kloee Taylor, just like it is spelled here. No spaces, no underscores, no periods, no extra letters. People scamming my community are out in full force. So please always check the username. I genuinely don't follow anyone back. I have like less than 100 people that I follow. So you'll always know if you get like a random follow and I've never spoken to you before, you'll know that that's not me. I will never DM you for a reading. I only do private readings through my website. So that is all I have for you, beautiful soul. Please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I'll talk to you next time.